Tonight, we're taking a deep dive into Apple's new Playbook, and it's a big one. We're seeing a major strategic shift that is completely reshaping their product lineup, from the very bottom all the way to a new super premium top. Let's get right into it. So what's really going on here? Well, at its core, this new strategy is a classic pincer movement on the consumer market. Apple is pushing down into the budget-friendly segment harder than ever before, and at the exact same time, it's creating an even more exclusive high-end tier at the very top. The objective seems crystal clear: to capture every possible corner of the market. So here's the bottom line. Apple is now effectively fighting on two fronts. You've got the Neo strategy, which is all about making the Apple ecosystem more accessible to the masses. And then you have the Ultra strategy, which targets the innovators, the early adopters, pushing the absolute limits of technology, but for a premium. Let's break down what each of those really means, starting at the entry point. Okay, so the first half of this new playbook really comes down to one very disruptive product, the MacBook Neo. This is Apple getting aggressive and taking the fight directly to the low-end laptop market, a space that for years has been dominated by Windows PCs and Chromebooks. And this is the number that makes it all possible: $599. That makes the MacBook Neo the most affordable laptop Apple has put out in a very long time. And you have to understand, this isn't just some sale price. It's a strategic shot across the bow, meant to completely upend the budget computer market. So the big question is, how did they pull this off? How did they hit that price? Well, it wasn't just one thing. It was a perfect storm of a few key developments. First, new manufacturing techniques have driven down the cost of those signature aluminum bodies. Then, you've got the A18 Pro chip, which is now affordable enough to produce at a massive scale. And of course, none of this would even be on the table without the incredible efficiency of Apple's own silicon. So practically speaking, who's going to buy this? Well, because it's running a full version of macOS on a really capable chip, the Neo is just about perfect for the everyday user. We're talking about students juggling assignments, office workers living in email and documents, or really anyone who just needs a fantastic web browser and the ability to do some light photo editing. It's about bringing that core Mac experience to a whole new group of people. All right, let's switch gears and go to the complete opposite end of the spectrum. Because Apple isn't just going down market, it's also pushing further up market than ever before with this new super premium Ultra tier, which is designed to sit even higher than its famous Pro lineup. The first device we're hearing about in this new category is a foldable iPhone, which would almost certainly carry that Ultra brand. We're talking about a device with a massive inner screen, brand new tech like under-display sensors. The whole idea is for this to be the absolute pinnacle of what an iPhone can be. And you can bet it's going to have a price tag to match. The rumors are putting it around $2,000. A price like that creates a whole new aspirational category, defining the absolute top of the phone market and making everything else in the lineup seem more accessible by comparison. Now, this Ultra idea isn't just for phones. It extends to accessories too. The rumored AirPods Ultra would sit above the current AirPods Pro, and the killer feature would be computer vision cameras. Now, what does that mean? Put simply, it could give you a Siri that can actually see what you're looking at, providing much more context-aware and useful assistance. And the final piece of this Ultra puzzle, at least for now, appears to be a MacBook with a touch-enabled OLED display. Just imagine bringing the incredible color and deep blacks of an iPhone screen to the Mac, and then adding the convenience of touch. This would create a new flagship laptop sitting comfortably above the already powerful MacBook Pro. So the most important takeaway here is that Ultra isn't just a one-off product name. It's a new, consistent, super premium tier that sits at the top of the entire ecosystem. We've already seen the seeds of this with the Apple Watch Ultra and the M-Series Ultra chips. It's a very deliberate strategy to create a new, higher ceiling for every one of Apple's product lines. So what is the business logic driving this two-pronged attack? Well, it's a strategy that has really become the hallmark of the Tim Cook era at Apple. And this quote from Mark Gurman over at Bloomberg just sums it up perfectly. The idea isn't always about inventing brand new product categories out of thin air. Instead, it's about taking products that are already proven hits and then stretching them to cover more price points, both low and high, to grab as much market share as they possibly can. You can pretty much break this playbook down into 3 simple steps. First, you establish a massive hit, like the original iPhone or MacBook. Second, you create a more accessible version to bring more people into the ecosystem. That's your Neo strategy. And third, you launch a new aspirational tier, the Ultra strategy, to push the boundaries and, of course, increase the average selling price. So let's bring this all together. What does this new, much wider lineup mean for you, the person actually buying these things? Well, the clear definition of these tiers is really designed to make that choice simpler. The choice now breaks down pretty clearly. The Neo tier is aimed right at students and casual users, where the main selling point is affordability for all your everyday stuff. The Pro tier, that's still the workhorse. It's for professionals and power users who need that perfect balance of high performance and value. And then you have the new Ultra tier. That's for the early adopters, the high-end creators, anyone who wants the absolute cutting-edge tech and is willing to pay for that privilege. And all of this leaves us with one final and I think very interesting thought. For decades, Apple's entire brand was built on this idea of elegant simplicity, of a product line that was very clean and easy to understand. As that line now stretches all the way from Neo to Ultra, it raises a fundamental question. In Apple's new playbook, has choice become the new simplicity?